Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, so there's something really strange happening in the global economy right now. On one hand, you've got stock markets soaring to all-time highs, which screams optimism. But at the exact same time, there's this growing anxiety around jobs and global tensions. It feels like two powerful forces are pulling in completely opposite directions. So what's really going on here? And this right here, this really just sums it all up, doesn't it? On the left, pure celebration. Markets have never been higher. And on the right, some serious anxiety. Thousands of people at major companies losing their jobs. How is it possible that both of these things are happening at the exact same time? Let's dig in. All right, to really get this, we've got to start with the single biggest force pushing everything up, the AI boom. This isn't just a small trend. It's a technological revolution that's changing everything, and investors are betting big on its future. And for now, wow, are those bets paying off? I mean, we're not talking about a little bump here. The Dow, the S&P 500, and the Nasdaq have all smashed their previous records simultaneously. That is a huge, unified signal that the market is feeling incredibly confident about the future. So what's feeding this fire? Well, it's a mix of a few things. You've got the tech sector as a whole just killing it, especially companies like Nvidia, the ones making the chips that power AI. Their stock has just exploded. But the real engine here is this widespread, almost euphoric belief in AI's potential. Throw in a little bit of hope for a trade truce between the US and China, and you've got a perfect storm for a market rally. Okay, and this is the really fascinating part, the very same technology that's creating all this excitement, it's also the source of some major disruption and anxiety. AI isn't just creating value, it's shaking things up. And look no further than Amazon for a perfect example of this. They just announced they're cutting 14,000 corporate jobs. The reason? They're retooling their entire structure to be less bureaucratic and to lean much more heavily on artificial intelligence. So there's a direct line from the AI boom to these layoffs. And this really gets right to the core of the tension. Experts are looking at moves like this and calling it a massive wake-up call. The same tech that's pumping billions into the market is also displacing jobs. This is why you can have market euphoria and widespread economic insecurity at the same time. From an investor's point of view, the bet is that the new value AI creates will, more than make up for the jobs being lost, at least when it comes to the bottom line. Okay, so that's the big push forward. Now, let's talk about the other side of this tug-of-war. The powerful geopolitical forces that are kind of pulling things back and creating a lot of friction and uncertainty around the world. A huge part of this drag comes down to just unstable trade. I mean, just look at the recent spat between the US and Canada. A 10% tariff gets slapped on basically overnight, all because of a TV ad. It just goes to show you how fast these stable relationships can get political and messy, creating huge headaches for businesses. And this quote here from Ontario's Premier, Doug Ford, mission accomplished. I mean, it says it all, right? It shows these aren't just calm, rational economic moves. They're tangled up in politics and signaling, which makes it almost impossible for businesses to predict what's coming next. And it's not just a North American thing either. This is heating up all over the world, especially when it comes to the raw materials we need to power everything, including all this new AI tech. Right at the heart of this is the race for what are called rare earth minerals. So you might not think about them much, but these things are in literally everything. Your phone, military tech, and yep, the super advanced chips that make AI possible. Now, China controls most of the supply and has started tightening its grip with export controls. And because of that, you've got the US and the EU scrambling to find other sources, and investors are now betting on companies that can provide them. This has become a whole new battleground in the global economy. So we've got this tech push on one side and this geopolitical pull on the other. How does this actually shake out in the hard numbers? Well, let's take a look at the latest on inflation to see what's happening. Okay, so the latest numbers are out for September, and we saw inflation creep up a little to 3%. Now, usually when you see that happen, it's a warning sign. It might mean the central bank needs to step in and raise interest rates to cool the economy down. Which brings us to this really interesting puzzle. If prices are going up, why on earth is everyone expecting the Federal Reserve to actually cut interest rates? I mean, that seems like pouring fuel on a fire, right? Well, the way the Fed is thinking about it is pretty interesting. First, yeah, they see that little jump in inflation, but, and this is the key part, they think a big reason for it is those trade tariffs we talked about, which they see as a temporary thing. So when they look at the big picture, the overall trend still looks pretty tame to them, and that gives them the green light to go ahead with a rate cut, because they think they can boost the economy a bit without losing control of prices. So, where does that leave us? Well, right in the middle of this massive tug of war, with these huge, powerful forces pulling the market in totally opposite directions. And this is really what it all boils down to. On one side, you've got the incredible push from AI and tech momentum, all this promise of a super productive future. And on the other side, you've got the pull of job anxiety and the constant drag of these messy, unpredictable global tensions. So the big question is, which side is going to win out? Well, we're actually about to get some major clues, and soon. We've got earnings reports coming up from the big dogs of tech, Microsoft, Meta, the companies right at the center of this whole AI story. Their results, and especially what they say about the future, will tell us a lot about whether all this optimism is for real. And in the end, it really all comes down to this one question. In this epic tug-of-war between technology pushing us forward and politics pulling us back, which force is going to win? That's the multi-trillion-dollar question that has everyone, and I mean everyone, on the edge of their seats.